More or Nothing.
Hello and welcome to
More or Nothing.
And in this week's episode, we have got some absolute superstar firepower coming to us in the shape of Springbok legend Bryan Habana. We'll be talking to former All Black superstar Joe Rokocoko, and also the Logan Express, your old pal Kenny Logan.
It's a bloody trio of wingers, lads. How good. It's going to be a quick one.
Very good.
Those dad jokes.
Guys,
strong.
That's very
The
good.
dad force is strong.
That is very good.
Oh, God, I'm such a dad. I'm going to crack open my beer, mow the lawn.
How are we, boys? How was some of your weekend?
I think we're better than you.
So I hear.
Yeah, you were right, mate.
How was the G6?
Just for everyone watching, usually it's hello and welcome, but today it was fucking
demure.
You're right, mate. I'm worried about you.
Your soul is all over
it's
the
gone.
place.
There's nothing left. There's nothing
Why?
up top.
Prison of Azkaban.
Are you in trouble with the missus?
No. I had the greatest weekend of my life. Genuinely, a private jet to watch England versus Samoa.
So what was it like on the jet? Talk to me. Did you have
Like,
good food?
my life will always be boring from the moment I stepped off that jet. Now, my life is boring. I hate being here. Like, I've tasted something
Like,
so incredible.
You're so fickle.
that everything else just seems so banal.
Okay, so how much money do you need to be cruising around in a private jet? What are we talking
Oh, I
about?
know.
Hundreds of millions?
Literally no idea. As in, it was a mate who took us.
Do you have canapes?
Everything, yeah. We had canapes, sushi. Also, what was amazing is actually we had the massivest night in Lille. It was really good fun. And then flying back, you're still getting back on a private jet. So you're like, I was so hungover, but actually it got me back into the game.
Yeah, you sure you were just hungover? Because I spoke to you yesterday and you were definitely pissed.
I got hammered on the plane, and then, as awful as it sounds, I ate a dodgy prawn last night, and I was up all night being sick, both north and south, just destroyed.
Ah, yes. The
So
Dodgy prawn from the private jet.
no, from like the local takeaway, which tells you everything you need to know, basically.
Oh, man. So back down to earth with a bang.
Awful. I'm here.
You are here. Thanks for making it.
Far more importantly, how was your weekend?
So Friday I played Cambridge, which they've just been promoted to the chat, and it was a bit of a mismatch. But I got to flex the muscle, stretch the legs. We got to 96 points or so.
Oh, my God.
Good men, though. Lovely men. Had a couple of jars with some of those
Yeah, they're
gents
going to be after the
game.
96 on them. You can't be an arsehole after getting 96 stuck on you.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
like, hello,
Amnesia.
mate.
Yeah. But great times.
You imagine acting like a dickhead when someone's put 96 points on you. It's just not possible.
Yeah, it was good. 40 minutes. It was quite nice.
Did you get to a point where you're like, boys, let's not go over 100, or were you trying to get over 100?
No, there were parts of the game where I was like feeling merciful.
So like falling over on purpose?
No, not quite. But you know those like shots you can make off the ball and breakdowns and stuff where you can just, it's all you can eat ribs at Tony Roma's. Just rack on rack on rack. I was just like, push him over. When you can just come steaming in on the 45-degree angle and just realign someone's skeletal structure. No, not me.
Good on you.
At that point, it was, you know what I mean?
Gentleman's agreement by then.
Why continue the massacre?
So a few beers after.
A few beers after, lovely times. And then Saturday, I went to a new restaurant I haven't tried yet called Casa.
Oh, yeah?
Down near Wapping Wharf. Lovely little Italian. Oh, there's a hell of a food scene. Rambunctious. Really stimulation.
Second time here, and I've been down at fucking KFC again.
Where do you want to go?
I don't know, but
I'll take you out
Can
for
I
dinner.
sleep at your house?
Do you want to squeeze? I don't want you to sleep in my house. I'm genuinely embarrassed. No. I live in the mines of Moria.
For those outside this podcast, they're watching in, going, they've got a big old budget. They've got Bryan Habana. They've got Joe Rokocoko. I'm texting Max today, going, mate, I'm flying down from Glasgow. The flight tonight is too tight. I don't want to be pushing it, so I've just booked a flight tomorrow. Not booked anywhere to stay. Okay. Any chance I can sleep on your sofa? I don't have a sofa.
I actually don't have a sofa, but you know that from the. Oh, did you say the floor's fine?
I said the floor's fine.
From the squat rack.
Okay, I could do that. You can sleep under the squat rack.
Yeah, like a 25 kg disc behind the neck.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, let's go for a nice leisurely dinner then.
I'd love to. I'm going to Marseille this week, boys. I'm back to Marseille though.
Back
on Thursday. But God, Wish me luck.
Are you ready?
I'm going with Nico Matawalu.
Oh, that could get you in so much trouble.
We were meant to be going and speaking to the Fijian boys and Fijian coach and stuff. And I said, Nick, so you have a word with them? He said, baby, it's just best we turn up.
Your impression of him is spot on. It's unbelievable.
Nick, I don't know if that's a good idea. It's actually Fijian Language Week this week. Do you know that? No. Fijian Language Week. Yeah, so I'm going to give you some words, actually. Here we are. Kere kere, please.
Kere kere?
Kere kere?
Vanaka vakalevu.
Vanaka.
Vanaka vakalevu.
Vanaka vakalevu.
Vanaka vakalevu.
Thank you very much. Polo level.
Polo level.
Big balls.
Polo level?
Should we ask what they are first before we just start saying stuff?
No. This is a really good one. Manga level.
Manga level.
Manga level.
And we'll leave that for the listeners in Fiji to decipher.
Delighted to be joined from his fabulous retreat overlooking the Eiffel Tower. It's the one and only Bryan Habana. How you doing, Bryan?
Hello, gents. What's happening? Been a while.
Let's start with the big one. Quarterfinals coming up. New Zealand versus Ireland. What are your thoughts on that one?
That's the biggest one, isn't it?
I think before we start like quarterfinals, we're not going to talk about Portugal or freaking trapping Fiji in the last game or the pool stages. I mean, talk about big, right?
Oh, well, we can. We got Joe Rokocoko coming on in a minute, and he's got a bit more of a Fijian twang. But I listen. Fair play to Portugal.
Okay. Joe Rokocoko. You say the K as a.
That's what I said. Joe Rokocoko.
Okay.
Davingu. I speak Fijian. Don't worry.
Davingu.
What about that? Portugal.
Yeah, Portugal have been amazing. I think Portugal have been going well throughout the tournament, and they've sort of given themselves a good old crack. They reckon they could have done better against Australia, but that's amazing, right? I think for where World Rugby goes and shows what the great structures, the financial impetus, what is possible, and I think massive calls having to be made post this Rugby World Cup on how World Rugby resolve the money they make and sort of fund, finance, put structures in place for the performing nations. Because I mean, if anything was this World Cup showed is that with the correct structures and finances in place, they can really compete with the best in the world.
It was one of those matches, Bryan, where you didn't want either side to lose, but it really was for the neutral the perfect scenario and the perfect result, really.
Neutral being Eddie Jones or not?
Oh, yeah. How good are some of the memes already?
They were very
you just
good.
knew that was happening. As it was.
Yeah.
But I think some people wanted to see the Aussies go through because Aussie-England with Eddie
really
Jones
it.
coaching against England would have been quite interesting. But I think everyone wants to see Fiji go through that quarterfinal, don't they?
Nah, 100%. No, they are definitely everybody's second team. But I think to your point, Marky, like the ability for as a neutral to enjoy that spectacle, and that was sort of preceded by the Argentina-Japan game as well. That was absolutely brilliant. So a great finish to the weekend of games that it didn't have much on the line, but games that just lived up to all expectations of strength versus strength type competitions, which I think is brilliant. So it does leave only 8 left, which is sad. 3 weeks left of the tournament, which is scary to think, right? Then it's a 4-year cycle done and dusted. But what a bouncing weekend for the stronger side of the draw. For the other side of the draw, not quite sure one can comment too much.
But it sets it up beautifully for these tantalizing quarterfinals. Well, yeah, of course, you'll lose 2 of the best teams will go out at the quarterfinal stage, but hell of a couple of ties in there, right?
Ireland are looking as formidable as they come, and I think that everyone's talking about their time. New Zealand, are they peaking? I'm not quite sure. The type of games they've had over the last 3-week period is conducive to them coming up against a side that's not only physically impressive, clinically as incredible as I've ever seen a team to be. And do not break. I mean, that Scotland phase of 18 phases where they weren't able to penetrate, went like 16 meters back on attack, just showed with this Irish side. He's Peter O'Mahony in his 100th test match. Jeepers creepers, the guy looks like he's still got at least another 10 years of rugby in him. So a massive first clash, preceded by the Wales game, Wales-Argentina, to open up the weekend, which is brilliant, right? Argentina bound for a good game. I don't think they've been at the level that we've expected them. But yeah, I think Stade de France is going to be bouncing. 60,000 Irish fans are going to be very keen to re-sing Zombie for the 3rd time.
Yeah, I'm a bit fed up with it already. I'm fed up with that bloody song already.
What with how good
Pick
they
another,
are.
pick another song. Fucking hell.
Were you at the game, Brian, the Scotland Island game?
I was there as a neutral, yeah.
Just ridiculous. I mean, we won't go into it too much because it's not worth talking about. We're going into the quarters and there's some big old games coming up, but the Irish were just another level. Was the atmosphere incredible in the stadium?
It wasn't quite the South Africa Island game. I don't know why. I mean, it seemed like Scots, I want to say 7-1 in terms of numbers, the Irish over the Scots. So there were quite a few empty boxes. So I'm not quite sure everyone didn't really want to spend money for this game. No, Ireland.
They just knew.
When you're 36-0 down, you're not that bothered about singing when you're Scottish. So.
Yeah, it was a brilliant game. It was a brilliant game to be at. The Irish, as fans, I must say, I tip my hat to them. It literally felt like there were at least 50,000 in that stadium, and they were at the top of their voice for 90 minutes, which was brilliant.
Let's move on to your Springbok side taking on the hosts. We had Scout Brits on last week, the week before rather, and he was saying that was the game that you would rather not play the All Blacks. You actually wanted the hosts. All your dreams have come true. Would you still agree with that?
So I would have been on Skulk's wavelength if Anton Dupont was only going to be ready for a semi-final. The fact that he's now ready for a quarter-final makes it a little touch and go. Not going to know what he's wearing facial features-wise on Saturday. But yeah, I think that French side is also as good as it's ever been. I'd love us to cause an upset, and I honestly believe, and this is not just me wearing a green top or having Springboks at heart, I do think the Springboks have shown quite enough over the last 9 months. What they showed against the French at Marseille last year, as well as this year, I honestly believe they're a team. I think the biggest decision is selection-wise. Do we go 7-1, 6-2, 5-3 with Andre Pollard now back in the mix, which I think is a massive call, massive call, right? So we've been renowned for having that forward impetus come on in the last 30 minutes and absolutely overpower the team. But I don't know if we can do that against this French side.
What's your feeling that they're going to edge towards?
My feeling is there's not going to be many points in it. I am honestly hoping that the many points is in the Springboks' favor, but I think it's going to be like three or 4 points either way, right? I'm going to be biting my lip, I think, for at least 75 minutes, hoping that we are accurate in kicking for poles and getting the points when they're on offer, and trying to keep things as structured as possible.
Will South Africa go 7-1 though, do you think? Do you reckon that's what they'll go for, 7-1 split?
I don't think so.
6-2.
Nah? 6-2.
My consideration is they're going to go 5-3.
Really?
Who are the three backs?
Yeah, so they'd probably go, obviously, scrum off Cobus Reinach or Grant Williams. I mean, either or, you're not going to lose out there. Then they're going to go Andre and Billy. I just think, with Andre coming back, leadership, experience.
A lot of IP out there. Yeah.
Having that boot's pretty handy towards the end of the game as well.
I think upset's a big shout though, bro.
Yeah.
Calling it an upset, I think you're quietly confident, aren't you? Really?
The only reason it's upset is because we're playing the host nation with everything.
I know, but
us, right?
this is your next home nation. 2007 got it done. Dub. Yeah.
100%. Yeah, definitely got it done. But we didn't play against the French, so it was.
You never know.
An upset.
You never know.
Side, right? But yeah, the only reason it's going to be an upset is you need to quiet the crowd at Stade de France. They're going to be boisterous. The noise inside is going to be deafening for the full 90. And if you can silence them, it's going to be an upset because the French don't take losing well, especially when they believe this is their World Cup to win.
Talking about Dupont's mask, if you're giving him one superhero mask, who are you going, like Batman?
No,
Spider-Man,
I think his
Man?
Features suit the Phantom of the Opera.
Phantom of the Opera. I think I've seen that.
Mate, he would look class with that, just like carbon fiber Phantom of the Opera.
He has actually worn one at a fancy dress, hasn't he? I think I've seen him with a Phantom of the Opera mask at a fancy dress at some point in the last couple of years.
Well, that's meant to be.
I'd love to see what options they have as a mask. I mean, for us as fans, like everyone's just so keen to see.
I know the biggest talking point. What mask are you giving him? Though? Give him a mask. You've got to pick a mask. You've got to pick a superhero mask for him.
I reckon Rey Mysterio, fluffy line.
I reckon that he's been eating kryptonite this past week, and he's going to play without a mask on Saturday.
Really? Just a Superman cape?
Oh, mate, just one on that plate, though.
Yeah.
One South African huge overnourished shoulder on that plate. Oh,
Maybe that's a red card, mate.
oh. Yeah, but that's also like orbital socket. God.
Do you know what? He's going into the safest ever World Cup though, with a facial injury. You know, no one's allowed to touch it legally anymore.
Yeah, that stops that stops it happening, doesn't it? Actually, to be fair, the World Cup's been pretty good though. It's been very good.
It's not been marred too much, I think, by red cards.
By the most cards at any World Cup tournament.
Is it really? Like that's why we get Bryan on. Yeah. Sort of like explain things that are going on in the rugby.
Sure?
Although in South Africa's fairness, we are the only team to progress out of the pool stages having not received a card of any sort.
Oh, you've jinxed it. You've jinxed it.
Yeah.
What have you done? What have you done?
Jesse Creel versus Scotland. That was a bit.
No card though.
No card. No.
Yeah. Got away with it.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda. What's the inside track on how the feeling is in the camp, Bryan, right now?
The Boks are staying very far outside of Paris. They're only getting up to Paris, I think, this evening. So trying to be very secluded, very outside of it. And from a South African perspective, it almost suits them being the underdogs, everyone against them, everyone not wanting them to do it again. So I think there is a quiet confidence within that camp. I've very much been external. I have not even been close to the Boks at any point over the last 4 weeks. So I can't give you the valuable insight you guys are needing. But I think this is set up to be exactly what the Boks want. My one reservation would be the fact that they haven't now played rugby for 2 weeks, which I don't know if that's my way to get into a quarterfinal week.
What do you reckon? Does Rassie do a probables versus possibles? Little dress rehearsal?
You would have needed to do that last week, right? You can't do it in match week.
Yeah, last week.
Maxi, I think, yeah, they had off for a couple of days. To the south of France, they were wearing sleeveless like you for 3.5 weeks, Maxi. So I'm struggling their summer bodies for.
Yeah.
Hands will be on point.
So I don't know what they would have done. It's just that 2 week break, Tonga feels like it was literally 3 weeks ago. So I'm not quite sure. Battled preparedness, for that physical combativeness that is this French side. What's going to be back? But that being said, backs against the wall, going under the radar. Everyone expected the French to win. I think it's a pretty good spot for the Boks.
I disagree. Under the radar, you no. Do you reckon? I reckon you guys are.
The thing was, so didn't have a great win against Scotland. Physically, we didn't find ourselves wanting that first 40 minutes.
Yeah, I like
Came
this.
up short against Ireland.
Yeah, I believe you. You're selling it.
Is that the official line that's being handed out to all Springboks and ex-Springboks? Remember, guys, we are the underdogs. We are the underdogs.
Underdogs.
Have you been briefed, Habs?
Bro,
mate, has
you
Razzie
are
been in your ear? Has Razzie been in your bloody ear?
As a neutral
A neutral.
He's shining the orange light behind right now. Go on, yeah.
Fascinating.
He's got the MasterCard sign.
Bryan, put your money where your mouth is. What are your predictions for that game?
I say South Africa by 3.
Top it off with the other 2 quarterfinals.
So my second team, Fiji, I'd love them to do what they did to England 5 weeks ago. I think it would be. And I honestly think for both teams, England having a rather poor showing against Samoa and that Fiji suffered against Portugal, as great as it was as a spectacle for rugby, I think it was exactly the kick up the arse they need, to be at their imperious best for the England game. So there won't be any recovery this week. It will be fully focused, and I know they are going to want to get stuck into that English team. So, yeah, I'm going. And then I feel Argentina have something in them. I don't think we've seen the best of them. I think we saw glimpses throughout the last 4 weeks, but I think against a Wales side that has shown a lot of resurrection, which we didn't expect. They have, without doubt, been my surprise team in the tournament. I didn't think Warren Gatland would get right what he got right, but I just think the RGs are top too much. So I'd go Fiji and Argentina for the other 2.
Yeah, I'm going Wales.
That'd be
Still
exciting.
with Wales. I don't know why.
I think Wales is right.
I just feel like there's something there.
Flinty.
Yeah.
So then you think the dress rehearsal in the group stage, Bryan, from your group will end up potentially being the final then?
You are on my wavelength.
Do you see it going the same way? Put it out there. If South Africa go through to the final, would it be a totally different game against Ireland?
I don't think it will be a totally different game. I think it will be a totally different outcome. And the only reason I say that is 11 points missing. Dion Fourie now had some crack at being a reserve hooker and shown some form. The last line-outs that we had in that last 20-minute stanza was a bit of our downfall. And I know that the massive bomb squad that didn't have the impact that a bomb squad should have would have also got a very big kick up the arse from Rassie and Jock, and they would now need to be ready for a final. But that being said, we can't talk about a final until you get through a quarterfinal. So I'll tell you my feelings at 11 o'clock on Sunday night.
God, you're good. He's good. He's real good.
I don't want to keep you from your event tonight, Brian. I know that you've got rid of the missus and the kids. You want to go and let loose. So thank you so much.
Get rid of them. Whoa. No. They had it for 2 weeks. School is starting tomorrow, Ryan Wilson. I did not get rid of them. It was a consummate decision that we both made to make sure that they got home a day early, prepared for school.
Oh my God, this guy's perfect.
Just ready for the knockout rugby. Yeah,
exactly.
I'm heading to Marseille on Thursday and get away from the wife and kids. I'm going to be honest. Not my nation's out, but I'm going down there because I'm Fijian heart.
Brian, can we see that Eiffel Tower again?
Can we see the Eiffel Tower again?
Yeah, give us a look, because I can see the sun coming in as well.
No, sorry. The lighting is going to not be great, gentlemen.
Oh, perfect.
Baby.
C'est magnifique. 6 weeks. Look at him. He's been looking at that for 6 weeks.
Guys, life's all about choices, right? Life's all about choices.
Behave tonight and for the rest of the tournament, Brian. Hopefully I'll see you soon.
Thank you so much.
Am I going to get an invite into studio at some point when you guys start playing?
Whenever what do you mean?
That is one of the best lines ever. That is unbelievable, the murder that's just happened out there.
I need that.
It's just unbelievable.
Hey, this guy's incredible. He's a silver-tongued devil.
He killed us.
Cheers, Emma.
Let's go.
Cheers, bye. See you soon.
Cheers,
Thank you
bye.
very much.
See you later,
Cheers. Thoughts, fellas? South Africa, the defending champions of the world, are, in Bryan Habana's eyes, absolute underdogs.
Yeah, he's hustling us. That's absolute tomfoolery if I've ever seen it. He knows what he's really thinking. That's ridiculous. Mate, does France, is everyone back though? So Willems is still out. Dante's back? No, I just don't think they can handle that horsepower up front. That is woof, Magoo. But maybe nah, I think he's wrong.
Oh, you think South Africa will beat France?
I do think South Africa will beat France.
I do feel like he's got an agenda though. He is trying to for the nation, try and keep it, play it low key, not overstay. Scout would have been out there giving it large ones. Yeah. Whereas he's in France. He's probably had a little tap from Rassie saying, "Listen, we know you're going on that massive podcast this week, that MAUL or Nothing podcast." I think Rassie would have heard about him coming on here and be like, "Play it down, don't fuck this up for us." Although he jinxed it, I guarantee you now, right? Soundbite. South Africa get a massive card, and it's all because of Brian. They get a card, and it's going to be a big thing in the game. Just to keep it interesting, we've got a big South African following. You've gone South Africa. I'm going to go for South Africa as well.
Yeah, South Africa.
I was going to go France, but no, South Africa. You
obviously France.
I just don't. It's a different beast. Sorry, up front it's just going to be different.
Oh, it's going to be a fucking brilliant game.
It's going to be unbelievable.
Boys,
what do you want to know?
What was that performance from England?
What we were all waiting for. What we're used to. That's what it was.
Really? Do you reckon, though?
Yeah.
It was muttering and sputtering, wasn't it?
It was crap.
Why do you think that was? The reunite. I think everyone wanted that kind of the George Ford Farrell axis to work and recreate yesteryear's glories, but it didn't seem to work.
It was just clunky and horrible, wasn't it? It was like they were just trying to fix things. It was like they were just throwing stuff at it right quick. Stick. Although I said to do it, stick Stewart on the wing, bring Smith on at fullback. Start with that. Start with that because it actually made it better. But it was just like they were quick, do something, try and you have a go. No, you have a go. And it was just a bit weird. It just felt a bit weird. It felt a bit odd.
Will they take anything positive from that match apart from the dub?
I think the dub, the 1 point dub, winning ugly. That was a tough game for them the whole way through. They probably count themselves lucky to get that victory. But I think winning ugly is all part of it, especially in a World Cup. It's interesting. I would like to see Henry in there. Aaron.
Yeah, well, he wasn't in. He wasn't in, was he?
I know. Maybe he's got some glaring weakness we don't know about.
Nah, like it's madness.
Yeah,
Start the match, especially against Samoa as well. Like,
yeah, that was the one.
They're expected to beat him realistically. Give him a run. I don't know. He's obviously done something, hasn't he?
I feel like they lack a bit of razzle dazzle in the backs as well. I think that's a guy who can give you a bit of a Midas touch somewhere.
100%. I'd have Arundel starting without shadow of a doubt.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy that they don't have him starting.
Yeah.
But
it's frustrating to watch, though, 100%.
But it sets up a wonderful game down in Marseille, which I'm looking forward to. Fiji versus England. Who do you want to win that, Max?
England.
Would you not rather see Fiji go all the way?
I would have answered differently, but I genuinely feel like England are underdogs in this game.
Nah.
You don't think so?
No, you can't do that to us as a nation, Fiji.
I actually think they might be, though, because they probably should have lost that game against Samoa.
Yeah, do you know what? I don't want to say it. I want to do what Bryan did and pretend that we're not, favourites in this. We probably are, but we're going to keep ourselves level and we're going to say we are on an even par with England at the moment. But wouldn't you love to see Fiji win?
What's your Fijian name again?
Willie Sonny.
Willie Sonny.
Willie Sonny. Oi. Willie Sonny. Sanga. Willie Sonny. Sanga. No. Vamalua.
Hey, look, it's a win-win for sure. Do you know what I mean?
So you sort a little bit want Fiji. You want Fiji to win,
but it would be the lining of a dark cloud if England did go out, but it better to them than anyone else, in my opinion.
So you sort of like don't really care then?
No, it's not gonna work, my friend. You can't incept an idea.
Stop trying to
don't crawl down my vocal cords, boy.
But what I will say though is that even in the stadium, there's something about when you watch Pacific Island teams. I mean, there were some England fans around near me who got into the Allez les Bleus.
I forgot you were there.
Allez les Bleus, because obviously Samoa are in blue, so half the crowd who are French anyway are just going for it. And then it was that weird thing where you're watching and just Samoa were fabulous. Like they felt like they were there and they were robbed. That's how in the stadium it felt like this is so harsh.
Man, Theo McFarland, God amongst men at the moment. Just the consummate athlete. What a freak show. Our Wong was predatory as well. I thought he was class. But yeah, Lima Sopwanga.
Good.
I know. I'm just they probably should have won. Sadly. But it would have been nice to see England like something more cohesive, that it's like their grasp of the game, their control was lacking, I felt.
Imagine you putting a little message to the England team, right?
Right.
They sat there the night before and Borfors is like, boys, I got a message to you from Max Leaf. There's so much pressure. What are you saying?
What would I say? I'd probably just quote Shakespeare.
Go on then. I bet you can.
No, but it's too easy. Henry V. Like, once more into the breach, dear friends, once more. Unless we fill the holes up with our English dead. In peace, there's nothing that so becomes a man as modest stillness and humility. But when the blast of the ref's whistle blows, then disguise fair nature for hard-favoured rage. Ready the shoulders, steady the hamstrings, assume the aspect of the tiger. Here lies glory, here lies immortality. Will you seize it? Eternal glory awaits. I'll do, won't it?
Beautiful, Max.
Should we introduce the fabulous former All Black star in the shape of Joe Rokocoko is on the show with us. Joe, thank you so much for joining us. Whereabouts are you at the moment?
I am on the coast of Spain at the moment, near Valencia, I'm pretty sure.
You don't know where you are, do you?
I totally don't know. All I remember is getting to the airport, finding the crew, as you do as a sheep. And we're ahead on our team camp for Racing 92. So a bit of time together as boys before the season starts, obviously, after the World Cup.
Are you managing to keep everybody's interest on pre-season rather than actually everything else that's happening in the rugby world in the rest of France?
For us, it's been exciting. We've actually, most of the games, we kind of review a few of the Rugby World Cup games together as a team. We just see shapes and patterns that's generally happening and during this Rugby World Cup. Some things that we try to implement in our own game as well, and maybe some things in defence as well that we're trying to implement in our own system. But we've been obviously fighting through the Rugby World Cup and through the boys there playing for their certain teams, and that's been exciting. We've been excited like everyone else here in France.
Max had his mate's first day at Bristol today. Virimi Vakatawa's first day at Bristol with Max today.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
A man you know well, Joe?
Oh, yeah. Had a good farewell cover with him on Saturday just to wish him all the best. He was all excited. Obviously, we've been just talking about a few doors open, and he's excited to get back on track and perform really well for Bristol.
You couldn't believe what Nicky was in, a big old boy, eh?
Oh yeah, he's looking good, man.
Yeah, he's a solid, but as you know, you don't expect too much from us Fijians on those times, on those bronco tests, but we'll eventually get down the end.
Handy.
Joe, where are your allegiances now into the quarterfinals? Let's talk about everybody's favourite second team in the shape of Fiji, and on top of that, you've got a few of them at Racing as well. So I mean, for the sport as a whole in Fiji, this is amazing, right?
It's amazing. It's massive for us. I guess just the general Fijian all over the world, just to see the progress of not only for these foreign Fijian players who've been playing overseas, but our local boys actually stepping up. In terms of saying local boys, our local team who's playing in the Super Rugby competition, and them having to be exposed to this competition and to be able to stand up to the teams like Australia and Wales. Obviously, the boys have slipped up a few days ago, but for them to be exposed to this World Cup and take their challenge has been real inspirational for all Fijians all over the world.
I'm going to ask you the toughest question of all, Joe. If it was a Fijian All Blacks final, who do you in your heart want to win?
Of course, it's Fiji, bro.
Easy.
Fiji first and foremost. Yeah. I think there's only one team, Jeff, that plays the All Blacks as Fiji. Before being an All Black, I've always wanted to be a Fiji Rugby Sevens player. I looked up to Sirevi, and that was my first team that I've always looked up to, and obviously doing that from a career, then stayed in New Zealand for a long time, and 15s became a bigger thing, and yeah, as you say, rest is history.
The boys kept us on edge against Portugal.
Oh man, did they? It was just frustrating, eh? I could just imagine us, but I could just imagine the Wallaby team on the edge of their seat. Just nerve-wracking. I couldn't imagine being in their room, especially being that week, training for something you're not too sure that you're going to be involved in, and to icing on the top to watch that intense game all the way to the very end. It's so hard, but that's sport, eh? And I'm just happy that Fiji boys got there in the end with a bonus.
Yeah,
just Fiji time.
Exactly. Exactly. Oh man, it was crazy. I was watching it thinking no, but like Mark said earlier, we had Bryan Habana on just before, and he said like all round, it's actually quite nice to see the Portuguese do so well and finally get that win. Like they were so emotional, and then Fiji also go through. It was like the best thing to happen, really. Yeah.
That was like fast. On the other side of being trying to be neutral, is like, yes, we got the bonus, and secondly, you've had a team that have come close and put everything on the field with the Portuguese, and first win Rugby World Cup. It's a win-win for both teams, really, and it was good to see. So, kind of dampened the loss for the Fiji boys in the end, but we're looking forward to this coming game.
That's the Fijian way, boys. See, yeah, they're just like doing nice things for everyone all the time. They must have known.
I'm assuming no Fijian wants to do nice things to the English boys in the next round, and if they put on a performance like they did against Wales and Australia, do you think that Fiji can make it to their first ever semi-final?
I really hope so. I guess they can get a lot of confidence from obviously the game they played early on before the Rugby World Cup, leading into Wales and against Australia. and it's quite works out best for us because we're underdogs. We work well when we're underdogs, not when we're so favourites. We come short when we're favourites. But in saying that as well, it's something it's a challenge for these boys that have never gone past. No one Fijian team has actually gone as close, I guess. I'm just more concerned on the amount of weeks of tough matches that majority, 90% of those boys have been doing every week, to be able to come again and go through the same intensity and the same pressure game. That's more my concern. It's more of the unknown. They haven't been to that stage of playing consistent big games week in, week out. And you've seen in the last few minutes, your top players had kind of ugly injuries coming their way. But an example of the Portuguese, they were tired too, playing these big games, and they showed a lot of heart to play against Fiji and come up with the win. So they was a prime example for us just to come up with. They were obviously finding a bit of fatigue and tiredness, so it's easy to come against English and find some energy somewhere.
Yeah, baby.
You've been part of a World Cup camp, but from a Fijian perspective, how much does it weigh on them that they are, very family culture? They're away from their families for a long time, doing it over FaceTime with or Skype, but with huge sort of time differences, then sharing as well. And do you think it'll get to a point where it's actually going to affect them at all now, coming into the business end of the competition?
I think not. I think they're just at the stage when they've realised how much of an impact they can actually create and give to our people back at home. You got to feature Tuisova, you got to feature all these other players, Randrandra's watching, and how our Fijian perform under less expectation from the world. And that's what they want to perform. The World Cup, winning World Cup's a bonus pretty much for our Fijian boys. It's just the first and foremost is just making our people proud. To be able to put on the white jersey, making an impact of these boys who come from a population, then I think we're pushing 1 million at the moment, maybe just under 1 million, but to be performing at the biggest stage of the world and just inspiring a lot of people back at home, I think that's their main goal at this very moment.
I think a lot of the Fijians are used to being away from the families as well, because all the rugby they play, except for the Andrua team, they'll be away from their families. Culture's a huge thing, Joe? Like, obviously, I've learnt it so much with the boys.
Massive.
It was big for you to send the boys back. Joe, you sent your boys back to live with their grandma back in Fiji, didn't you?
Yeah, I got my wife and my 3 boys back in Fiji. We're constructing a house in Fiji. Reason being is my wife has every single nail go inside the house, mate. So as you do, some nails disappear back at home. But the majority of these boys, they live away and they think about the sacrifices that our parents go through, and we remind each other. The early hour mornings, the some trap boys walking barefoot to training, an hour to just to go training, then come back. There's small sacrifices that these guys have been given, they will never forget, and they just want to repay that back to the people that have been there from the beginning.
Oh, how good. So good. Big Green's back there in Fiji at the moment, Big Nakarawa. Shout out to him, he's just had a baby, little boy. I said to him, Brass, you need to call it Willisoni.
Funny.
That's my Fijian name, Willisoni.
Willisoni.
Oh, yeah. And the scary part is, mate, there's a lot of, if we got the draw, obviously, but yes, there was South African team in this competition, but the draw has met the semis after 2 or 3 years. Some of these teams have been playing Super Rugby for God knows when, but they've never met semis. So imagine this team was formed 10 years ago, and you imagine the development has improved these past 3 years. Yes, they've had the competition early on, 2 years prior. But it's quite scary, mate, just to see how the amount of talent that's just waiting in the line to get this opportunity.
And I want Max to explain that clip that went pretty big when we're talking about Fijians. Why do you think the Fijians are such athletes? Check if it's true with Joe.
I think it's just how they're brought up. Like, I was looking at when Semi was playing for Bristol, I just looked at his feet and stuff. They're just built different. It's like it's the environment, like more natural food. Like I watched Sami Soroka Daguni climb a tree, bro, with his bare feet at Browns and just a towel, like a full-on tree. Did anyone else do that? Their feet are just going to fall to pieces. They're just brought up different. And it's just class.
Correct. It's a mixture of gene and it's
obviously
from the village. Obviously, if you're hanging around not doing anything, you from the get go when you're young in the Pacific, you got tasks. You learn to be a farmer, or you learn to do a lot of things with your hands and just work hard labor. Restriction on food sometimes, so you're mentally tough, and that's why you go to we're so big on our belief and our faith that kind of takes us through that and gives us resilience through the times that are tough. So you kind of build that, you put yourself into a professional development team or a country that kind of just kind of shapes the sculpture of this perfect player that you want to create. That's why you see some of these players, they develop later because they're so raw. Obviously in Botia, he was in Fiji for a while. You take him to an environment, La Rochelle, you're performing, you're playing against high competition, Championship Cup, top 14, pressured games in front of massive crowd, and for them it's normal now. So he's a beast. So the more these players are exposed to it, the better.
For me, the breakthrough for Fiji, like one of the guys that came out of nowhere, Hambosi. How good was he for a winger? Yeah. Fuck, man, he's good.
He's still raw. For me, he's still raw. I think we were just talking about him because obviously he's joined us here with racing, but his knowledge of rugby is still he's pretty much a fresh player. Like he's so much to learn. He hasn't actually scratched the surface yet. So a few more years in a professional system and a team, and to be playing against competitive teams and competitive players week in, week out will just grow this person.
Careful when you give him level breasts. That's when Nico changed.
It changes, yeah. Don't change on a level, bro.
He's like big money. Nico, I'm going to Marseille with Nico on Thursday, and I'm worried. I'm really worried.
Yeah. Well, when you change, when you got a big family, you buy a 2-seater car, mate. You know that.
Oh, the Maserati.
Good man, Nico.
Let's talk about New Zealand now. The boys mentioned that it's probably the first time in almost World Cup history that people are not talking or weren't talking about the All Blacks in any real sort of shape until they destroyed Italy. And then suddenly everybody's remembered that you'd never, ever sack off the All Blacks.
I was at that game, and I was talking to a few friends in that game, but you can almost sense it. You can almost feel it, having been talked about, been under the radar, similar to what the Springboks were in Japan. Had that big loss in either back at home, then lost to the ABs or under the radar a bit, and everyone was talking about these other teams, and next thing they're lifting the trophy at the end of it. And also just like you said, with the name, the All Blacks hadn't been coming up, and what a perfect. It doesn't matter. It didn't matter what team was going to come up against the All Blacks that week. They were going to get a good smacking, in my opinion, because I could understand the preparation. Have 1 week to think of more of, are we giving this jersey justice? Are we performing to our best? It just eats away at you every single day as an All Black player. And when you have to wait for a week to think more about it, it gets you. And obviously, you need that balance just to ease off. But boys in that group are so passionate about enhancing that jersey and enhancing what these guys have done before. And when people start saying you're not at the same level, it almost feels like, shucks, I'm not actually enhancing it. So it kind of gets personal. If I was in their shoes, they'll feel the same thing. So putting on 91 points, it's respect to Chile. It's not France versus Chile. It's New Zealand versus Italy. It's a six-nation team. You're making a mark. Yeah, it's like putting your foot down and just saying, we're here, we haven't gone anywhere.
Now, different proposition altogether in the quarterfinals. How do you see that one playing out?
That's a big one. It's like you're confident they can do it, but it's the first time when you're in the back of your mind, shucks, there's a team that's put a lot of pressure and has asked a lot of questions for us, I think the thing is, there's no problem with attack. They're involved with attack with Joe Smith, and obviously they came up with different options with the small little kicks at the back. A lot of options with guys running off the ball, but I think the defense part has to be real crucial focus for the ABs. When you get playing the Irish, when you give Saxton time and space, we give him a lot of options. And yes, we're sometimes passive as All Blacks, and we try to up and control sometimes, but you try to do that 8th, 9th, 10th phase, you're going to start to get tired. You're going to start letting Saxton play a bit more. So I'm more worried about that part. But hey, they got all these specialists and the guys, a lot of experience who can come up with ideas this week, and I'm sure they'll look at that more all areas.
You obviously want All Blacks to win. Who are you putting your money on? Like the way that Ireland dismantled Scotland at the weekend, like that was 36-0 at one point. It was mad. It was crazy.
It's crazy because the thing is, with Scotland, sometimes you rely on one player to dictate your game. With Finn, with Ireland, you've got so many players who can change things. You've got forwards who can be ball players. You've got wingers who are waking off the wing, or halfbacks playing wing and creating tries. A lot of guys who can create situations and be comfortable in the uncomfortable when things don't go your way. So yeah, mate, that's like you said, it's 2 finals already. It's 2 finals before the final. That's it's everyone's just looking forward to this game. It's your number 1 playing your number 4, your number 2 playing your number 3. So in terms of world rankings, so it's going to be big.
Right, the best. Just give me who's going to win.
I said All Blacks, bro, for sure, bro.
All Blacks for sure. All Blacks.
Just because All Blacks, but if they lose, you can understand why. But
hey, I'm with you. I want the All Blacks. I think a lot of people. Who would you want to win? All Blacks or Ireland? You're going to say Ireland, aren't you?
Yeah, but the thing, but the reason I want Ireland to win.
Fucking song again.
No, not the song. I just want someone else to lift the trophy for the good of the game.
That is,
Fiji.
That's why we got Fiji.
Yeah, that'd be glorious as well. But I just think it'd be kind of nice for Ireland to break their hoodoo as well. They just always battle to get out of quarters and stuff.
I could do with that.
Joe, give us your the best moment of your World Cup career.
My first game, just being in the Rugby World Cup. I think we played Italy, and I said this to a few of the boys because that year went so fast. I didn't actually know there was a Rugby World Cup that year. So that's how much clueless I was, and I was young and 19 and naive, didn't know what was happening. And when I actually got to a point that I was wearing a number 11, that a very famous jersey in a Rugby World Cup, was a massive achievement for myself, especially when you wake up early hours in the morning and you watch Jonah play in that number and perform the way he did, and to wear his number was the best moment I could bring that out of the Rugby World Cup.
I was guessing I was edging towards another moment in my mind of a certain quarterfinal, if I recall correctly, against South Africa, when King Carlos Spencer popped one through.
Oh, yes.
Was it under the legs? Was it?
Well, that's not even a good moment, because that's like a normal moment for Carlos. So that's kind of the old norm. So I didn't actually cut it as like a best moment, because I had about 6 of those kind of random passes during the Blues that season anyway. Yeah, to be playing the Rugby World Cup, obviously the build-up, obviously the sad moments. You got to talk about your sad moments. Was that quarterfinal? Still haven't watched the game this moment, but you see my hands going up and trying to tell the touch charge and saying touchy where it was. That's our forward. And when that happened, I just went, okay, it's one of those games. But the last memory was just so quiet, dead silent in that change room. It's something that you would never want to experience as a player. Not just losing the game, but just letting everyone back home down and family. So, but you go from it, and it's all about experiences. And I think I was the only person that swapped my jersey with the number 9 no one wanted to swap jersey. I changed my jersey because I didn't want to remember that day because it was heartbreaking. But hey, that's all part of Rugby World Cup, and just hope we don't go through that time.
Jay, thank you so much for your time. It's been truly insightful. Whilst just to finish up, can I get your quarterfinal predictions for the 4 matches?
So we'll go All Blacks. We'll go France. We'll go Fiji. And we'll go Wales.
I'll give you that, Bruce. Vagicil level.
Thank you so much, Jay.
Cheers, boss.
No worries. Cheers, guys.
Awesome.
Thanks for your time.
See you in Marseille, Bruce.
Banaka.
See you, Bruce.
What a legend, eh?
What a legend. We are delighted to now be joined by former Scotland winger Kenny Logan, the Logan Express himself, pal of Ryan's. How are you, Kenny?
Very good. I was actually snoozing. That's why I was a bit late on the call. Bit tired after the challenge.
Kenny, how are the arse cheeks?
Arse cheeks are good. Honestly, they're really good.
How much Vaseline did you go through?
I didn't go through Vaseline, but I did go through tubs and tubs of cream. That the rule on the tour was you never double dip. And I've got to be honest with you, there was no pubes in that tube by the end of the trip. So there's no double dipping. Ally McCoist tried to go back for a double dip, and I says, no chance.
By the way, he's just been on a lad's tour. He's not been riding a bike or anything.
Yeah, explain.
Give
us context.
Give us a bit of context.
No, don't give us
Kenny
context.
Or Ryan,
Thanks for coming, Kenny. See you later.
No,
Give us the context.
We cycled from Murrayfield to Paris, which took 7 days, for My Name’5 Doddie Foundation, called the Kenny Logan Rugby World Cup Challenge. Came up with it's a good name, isn't it? I came up with that myself.
Who thought of that?
Yeah, cool. And with Jason Fox, we had Archie Cousiner, we had, who else we have? Tom Johnson that came along, we had Ally McCoist, Jamie Bamber, Jimmy Nesbitt, Gabby, my wife, Kirsty Gallagher. So and then we had other people there, but they were the main sort of people. But it was really good. It was hard. The walking was murder.
Yeah, that's mental because we're chatting about. Yeah, the bike's actually not too bad. Apparently, it's when you cycle and then you get off, the walking's the worst bit.
Knees, feet, just getting hot and just sore and just boring, slow.
And you carried the ball, so it was strapped to your back pretty much the whole way. And then when you jumped on the bike, you strapped it to the bike.
Yeah.
And you got all the way down to the game. First of all, I think when I looked last, you were approaching 500 grand. The target was 555. What a job and what a feat to raise that much money for such a special bloke, eh? Doddie, what a man! I had the pleasure of spending a few good nights with him. After games for Scotland, you go upstairs and he would always be the one hosting. First thing to do, made me neck a pint to the point where Gregor Townsend went, right, boys, I'm not joking anymore. It's not professional. When you go up and do the thing post-match with Doddie, you're not necking pints. And we were like, well, fuck. And he's like, and you're not singing songs, especially after you've lost. And you walk in there, and Doddie's like, right, there's a pint, neck it. And we're like, but Gregor, he'd be like, shut the fuck up, down it. And he'd be like, right, now sing a song. It's just like...
Hey, you're never going to say no.
No, you couldn't say no to the man. He had such an aura about him, eh?
Yeah, he did, yeah. And the thing is, obviously, with him not being here now, his goal was to try and find some sort of cure or something that can make an impact in M&D. So since he's passed, the enthusiasm and belief and sort of everybody wants to try and be part of that journey, leave that legacy for him. So there's been a massive upsurge of help coming to the foundation and money in the last year to really try and speed this up. And we will get there. It'll take a couple of years, but we'll get there. They're making some good impacts in the disease at the moment. So if we keep it up and next couple of years, hopefully we can find something to make an impact.
And you presented the match ball, obviously, to the game. We'll get into the game in a minute, but that was a pretty special moment with his son as well, one of his sons.
Yeah, I went up with him. But you know what was really cool? I mean, we were lucky with all through the UK, we're getting greeted. But Brighton College, 1,000 people there, greeted us, pipe band, pipes, and one of their teachers got M&D, so they were really close to the foundation. But then we got into Paris, we had a police escort, took us down to the Champs-Élysées. We had the whole Champs-Élysées blocked off coming down, 40 of us, big truck, daft truck, all logoed up, Doddie Foundation. That was a special moment, and then coming into the stadium was brilliant. But everything that happened this week, I think the big man was just ticking the boxes. He was just like, let him do this, let him do that, let him do this, let him do that. And we got away with a lot of stuff, so it was brilliant. The World Rugby let us take the ball on, which was a great honour for myself and obviously the foundation and Hamish. And Hamish is a good lad. He's not far away from his dad. He's not falling far from the tree, let me tell you.
Oh, good stuff. Well, listen, you could have done us a favour and maybe put that Vagicil or whatever you're putting on your arse all over Johnny Sexton's hands when you shook it. You could have done something to help us, because talk about the game, mate. It was pretty brutal, eh?
Well, you know, it was the worst thing. I was sitting next to Jimmy Nesbitt. And if you know Jimmy Nesbitt, he finds it hard to be quiet at the best of time. But when Alan was scoring these tries, I just wanted to punch him in the head. I was so... Gabby at one stage said, just stop letting bother me. I said, I now hate the bloke. I now hate him so much. Right? And Coisty was on the other side. He just kept looking behind me going, like that. So, and they ever go, well done, Jimmy. Yeah, well done. They were so clinical. I think they touched them. They were in there 22, 3 or 4 times, try every time. We just said no, go forward. We were sort of going across the pitch a little bit. Ireland's defence was outstanding. Best team won, let's be honest. Number 1 team in the world. Beat New Zealand, they'll probably get to the final. And, you know, if we get to a final, who knows what can happen.
Yeah, I never liked any of Nesbitt's bloody shows anyway, so go on iPlayer. You know when you can put the thumbs down button on the iPlayer?
Do that, do you?
I'm going down there and hammering it for you, Kenny.
Yeah, well, it was all right after a couple of hours. After a couple of beers, we felt better from Nesbitt, but he was so annoying. I wanted to fucking kill him.
Was Coisty giving any commentating? I was like, by the way, fucking. He's giving any.
Coisty was, I mean, I don't know if you know Coisty, but I've known Coisty for about 30 years, and just to spend a week with Coisty, in fact, the fact that he turned up was a real miracle. You know, he was shitting himself. He kept saying to me, I'm going to struggle to do this, big man. I know I'm going to struggle. And then every day he came back, can't you believe it? It's so hard. And then day 5, I said to him, do you know you've got 16 gears? He went, what? 16 gears? I said, I've got 16 gears. He went, where's the other gears? I went, well, you got to go to weird cog. Oh, for fuck's sake, where's the wee cog? I've not got a wee cog. So the next day, we're in France, and he says to me, can I have a word? I said, gee, what's wrong? He goes, just show me how to work the gears. So I take him, I'm pedaling the bike, show him how to work the gears. He comes back and he said, oh, this trip would have been a piece of piss if I'd known that.
Oh my God, how amazing. No injuries or anything on the way down?
Oh, we did have one. My business partner, Paul, he broke his arm. He fell off quite a bad one actually and broke his arm, but he was all right. He's good, he's fine. But he's a very lucky boy.
Fuck yeah, now.
I know.
Kenny, we had
Nesbitt, I heard. That knocked him off.
Yeah, Nesbitt pushed him. Yeah. We had a good court session. Foxy and Mel Dean took the court session. Very good. Foxy's very good at a court session. You don't argue. You just do what he's told.
Yeah, sandbags over the head of the lot, like SS style.
Yeah, it's very good.
We should have got Manscaped involved. I would have had everything. Did you shave everything down there just to make sure it was...
I kept it clean, I kept it short. And one guy said to me 2 weeks ago before I started, and that's the other thing. When you cycle in the UK, you're on the other side of the road, people drive past, put the window down, you go, wanker.
What? Do they?
Who does that?
Who does that?
Yeah, you. I'm on the other side of the road. I'm not even doing anything to this guy. and then this other guy the other week there, before I get away, he says, "You're not a true cyclist. You've got hairy legs, wanker."
I'm guessing this wasn't when you were in a big group raising money for the charities when you're out on your own.
This is when I was training.
Yeah, so that's right. It serves you right.
I did tickle the hairs on my legs. You know, I took them to a level that looked like Tour de France, you know, bit of aerodynamics. Every bit helps.
No, it's got to be the padded shorts as well, though. You know, just under the perineum, you need that.
You need that. It's the front. It's what happens at the front when you're on the bike for 7 hours. I mean, you have to look at your sexuality. What am I now?
The prostate's just been compressed into nothing.
Well, I haven't got a prostate now, you see. So I got that.
Oh yeah, you had yours taken out.
Yeah, I got to take it out for the cycle.
Last time I went out with him, I was like, "Oh, who's your mate?" He was like, "Oh, that's the bloke that took my prostate out." And I was like, "What? Hold on, what is going on here? You're out with the surgeon." Not like take it out like that, like cut it out surgically. Yeah, Jesus, Vaseline,
it's not like
shaved
Stockholm syndrome
gooches,
just going out of the beer. That the guy's like chloroformed him and taken out.
Kenny, you're an absolute legend, and what we'll do is we'll stick a link in here and make sure that anyone watching, anyone listening will jump over and donate everything they can to such an awesome cause. Thank you so much for jumping on, mate. You've been brilliant and well done with the challenge. Absolutely outstanding work.
Thank you, boys.
Thank you.
Cheers, Geddy.
All the best. Hope the gooch recovers.
Oh, she's fine.
Cheers,
man.
Here we are. My one favourite comment of the week. Do you want to hear it?
Yeah.
My one favourite comment of the week was from Rugby Debuts.
Oh, good. No, goodness sake. This is sadly towards me, I believe. What's he saying now?
He's going to have a field day after you telling your private jet thing. He's put Ali Baba Pano trying to look the part in his fancy hotel.
He's relentless.
Can you imagine what he's going to have a field day about you?
I reckon he knows you personally.
You, your dodgy prawn, and your private jet.
My private jet.
He might know you personally.
Keep it up, Rugby Debuts.
Could be someone at the BBC.
Oh, man.
Well, he's in my head.
So, he's rent-free. Wolf Craig. We'd like to thank the kind people at Wolf Craig for sponsoring the podcast. And out now, they have the triple sherry cask, 14-year-old. Get your hands on it now. Head over to the website at wolfcraig.com.
Well, sadly, that is all the time we've got left for this week. Huge thank you to Ryan Max, as always, to Kenny, to Brian, and to Joe as well, and to you all for listening and or watching, and we'll see you all next week.
Nakavaka level, Fijian language week.
More or nothing.
Well, we're still recording. What's happened? Where's Mark gone?
He's gone to empty his stomach contents.
Do you reckon he's actually being sick because of a dodgy prawn, or do you reckon he's hungover? I think it's a hangover. He was steaming poisoning again yesterday.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because he went on a private jet yesterday, didn't he?
Did he get back yesterday?
Yeah, he flew back yesterday.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, probably that then. It's probably just alcohol poisoning.
100%. And he's saying it's a
probably
dodgy
had
prawn.
a nice McKellen on the plane. A few too many.
Exactly.
Well,
what's interesting is his mum's in town, who's Chinese, and she made me a lovely little rice packet when I woke up. And
what do you mean a rice packet?
It's like, like in a banana leaf.
Yeah.
Sticky rice with like some pork in there and then some chili stuff.
Oh, what, like char siu pork with sticky
and it was
rice?
Steamed. So he steamed it for half an hour. Oh my God.
Lordy, that
Mark's treated like a child.
Is he actually?
Yeah, well, his mum and dad are living with him at the moment.
Oh, so they just...
So I wake up in the 4-year-old's bed.
And he's just taken care of by his mum, every want and need.
I could hear the kids going to school, so I thought I'd better come down because I could hear him shouting saying, I wanted to see Uncle Ryan. So I came down and said, hello, kids, are you off to school? So it was so weird.
That dialogue didn't happen, did it?
Yeah. Hello, kids, are you off to school?
Well, they said Uncle Ryan?
Yeah.
I don't believe you.
Ask him. And then his mum made me a lovely bit of lunch.
I didn't know he was so close to his children.
Mark made me a smoothie in the morning with broccoli in it. I was really pampered when I went there. I did prefer the Mandarin Oriental to his child's bedroom.
It's not that funny. Stop. It's very funny.